let's learn about the systems available for organizing your players into an offensive system to play the game. With any offensive organizational system, the first number in the system name refers to the number of available hitters, while the second refers to the number of setters used within the system. Any one system discussed in this module may not meet the needs of all teams, since choosing a system should be based on your own team personnel's strengths. Coaches should choose a system that fits their personnel each season. When selecting, training and organizing your team, get your best athletes setting and teach at least half of your team to set, so you are ensured of success on this important second contact. There are many systems available, but we will focus primarily on the International 4x2 system in this module. The 4x2, learn it. While there are several different systems for organizing your team offense, one of the most common systems is the International 4x2, or otherwise known as just the 4x2. The 4x2 system includes 4 full-time hitters and 2 assigned setters opposite each other in the lineup, each of them setting when they rotate into the front row. In the 4x2 system, the setter will always set from the right front position at the net, making this system a front row setting system. In general, front row setting systems such as the 4x2 allow you to have only 2 front row attackers, although all the back row players could also be involved as hitters from behind the attack line. Keep in mind that the 4x2 system discussed here may not meet the needs of all teams, since choosing a system should be based on your own team personnel's strengths. Coaches should choose a system that fits their personnel each season. A typical organization tool for coaches to understand the 4x2 system is shown here in what is called a rotation wheel. The wheel always shows 2 front row attackers and 1 front row setter in the top half of the wheel. For a coach to better understand the rotational wheel, let's start with the basics. In a 4x2 offense, at the start of rotation 1, the base position of setter number 1 will be placed in the right front of the court, and in the opposite position, setter number 2 will be placed in their base position in the left back. When setter number 1 rotates to the back row, in rotation 2, they are no longer the primary setter, but assume digging and possibly back row attacking duties. At the same time, setter number 2 rotates into the front row and assumes setting duties, and when the ball is in play after each serve, they will switch to the right front base position. Moving into the right front to set after each serve allows the setter to primarily set front sets to a middle and left side attacker, although the middle attacker may also swing behind the setter to hit an attack from the right front zone of the court. The setter may also choose to set to a back row attacker, who must jump from behind the 10-foot line to hit the ball. The setter must switch back into the normal rotational position for each new serve. In this system, since the setter plays front row, ideally, they must be prepared and able to block opposing hitters. As a front row player, they are also allowed to jump and attack the ball on a second or third contact. This can catch the defense off guard. Looking at all 6 base positions of the 6 rotations, and note that, within this system, the last 3 rotations look identical to the first 3 rotations, with the other 3 players now in the front row. The 4x2, organize it. Now that you know how many setters you need on the court and have identified your best setter, let's place your middle attacker. If setter number 1 is your active setter and setter number 2 is your next best setter, place your best middle attacker next to your second best setter. Next, place your second best middle hitter next to your best setter. This will allow for a more balanced attack and more completions on the pass or dig, set, attack series during play. In this example, your best setter, or setter number 1, starts in the left front position, so you will have them in the front row for 3 rotations at the beginning of the game. This leaves your 2 outside attackers, outside hitter number 1 and outside hitter number 2, to place opposite of each other in the lineup. It may be advantageous to place your best outside hitter, or outside hitter number 1, next to or between your second best setter and second best middle hitter, so you have at least one strong hitter in the front row in all rotations. You may call this starting position rotation 1. But that doesn't mean you must start your team in that rotation in a game, it just gives you a point of reference. For the start of any game, you can spin the wheel and start your team in whichever rotation gives you the best advantage over your opponent. For example, if your best setter, referred to as setter number 1, is also your best server, you may decide that it is to your advantage to spin the wheel, so they start as your first server in that set.